Across the vast stretches of space, stars twinkled like scattered diamonds against the black velvet of the universe. For centuries, the galaxy had been a place of peace, trade, and discovery. Alien civilizations grew rich and powerful. Worlds blossomed with life, and ships sailed the cosmic seas without fear. But now, a shadow was spreading, a silent darkness that no one saw coming. Systems began to disappear. Entire planets stopped sending messages. Ships that were scheduled to arrive never reached their destinations. The galaxy was falling into a strange and deadly silence. At the heart of the Galactic Council, a place where leaders from many worlds met, worry filled the air. The Grand Hall was usually full of confidence and plans for the future. But today, faces were pale, voices shaky. Admiral Zelrath, a tall alien with shining silver eyes, stood before the holographic map of the galaxy. Red dots blinked on the map, marks of systems that had gone dark. Each dot was a lost world. "The rate of disappearance is increasing," Zelrath said. "If this continues, half the known galaxy could be gone in a matter of days." A murmur ran through the council chambers. Questions and fears bounced from one leader to another. "What could cause this?" asked Governor Namir, a reptilian diplomat. "No enemy force has ever had such power." The oldest member, Elder Vaughn, a wise being whose eyes held the stories of 1,000 years, spoke quietly. "This is not just war. This is extinction. Something is destroying entire worlds faster than we can understand." A small blue planet called Sarah. The people felt the fear growing too. Cities went dark without warning. Communication failed. Panic spread among the population. Lyra, a young officer from Sarah, looked at the blank screens in her command room. Her voice trembled as she reported, "We have lost contact with 2 neighboring systems. No signs of life." "Prepare defense fleets," her superior ordered. "If this is an attack, we must be ready." But the defense fleets sent out were never seen again. Reports came in that ships vanished without a trace. The enemy moved with deadly speed and silence. Far from the center of the galaxy, on the edge of known space, strange signals were detected. Scientists studied the patterns waves of energy that seemed to erase everything in their path. The Galactic Council held emergency meetings. They sent messages across the galaxy calling for aid, but no one answered. In this desperate moment, an ancient legend surfaced. "The Deathworlders," Elder Vaughn said. "They are the last hope." The Deathworlders were a mysterious group from worlds so deadly that only the strongest survived. Rumors said they were fierce warriors, with skills unlike any other. Many feared them. Few had seen their ships. A messenger was sent to Earth, the largest known Deathworlder planet. The humans there had lived through harsh conditions for generations. They had grown tough and clever, able to survive when others would fail. Captain Reyes of Earth's fleet received the call, studied the message carefully. "The galaxy is dying," it said. "We need your help." Reyes clenched his fists. "We will not let the galaxy fall," he promised. The human fleet began to prepare. The engines hummed, weapons were checked, and the brave crew readied themselves for the journey ahead. As the Deathworlder ships launched into the stars, the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. No one knew if they would succeed. No one knew what waited in the darkness. But one thing was certain: the silent extinction had begun. The galaxy was trembling with fear. Systems vanished, entire fleets lost, and panic spread like wildfire. Yet far from the center of this chaos, on a small, blue planet called Earth, the people prepared. Earth was no ordinary planet. It was known among the galaxy's most powerful species as a death world, a place so dangerous that only the strongest survived. Its gravity was heavy, making movement slow and difficult. The atmosphere was harsh, the weather unpredictable. Predators roamed its lands, wild and deadly. But humans had learned to live there. They grew tough. Their bodies became strong from the planet's constant challenges. Their minds grew sharp, their spirits unyielding. Captain Reyes stood on the bridge of the flagship Ironclad. His crew moved quickly, preparing for the journey to save the galaxy. Many aboard had never left Earth before, but they all knew this. Mission was their greatest chance to prove themselves. Aliens from other planets looked at Earth with curiosity and fear. Some called humans reckless, wild, even dangerous. They come from a death world. How can they help us? They whispered Commander Lyra, a diplomat from the Galactic Council. Watch the human fleet with a mixture of hope and doubt. They have survived against impossible odds, she said quietly. Maybe they are exactly what we need. The Deathworlder ships were smaller and fewer in number compared to other fleets. But they were fast, agile, and heavily armed. Their pilots trained in Earth's toughest environments, mastering survival and combat, as the fleet readied to launch. Messages from distant worlds came in, refugees fleeing the enemy, desperate for protection. The galaxy needed heroes. Today, we show them what Deathworlders are, Captain Reyes said firmly. The ironclad and its fleet rose into the stars. Leaving Earth behind as they traveled, tension grew. The enemy was closer than anyone had thought. Every jump through hyperspace brought the fleet nearer to battle. In the alien systems ahead, whispers spread. The Deathworlders are coming. Are we ready? The galaxy held its breath because soon, everything would change. The cold darkness of space was broken by flashes of light laser fire and explosions. The Deathworlder fleet had arrived at the front lines. Refugee ships fled in panic, their hulls battered and shields failing. Enemy forces, large and ruthless, swarmed around them. Ready to destroy everything, Captain Reyes stood firm on the bridge of the ironclad. His voice was calm but strong. All ships form a defensive perimeter. Protect the refugees at all costs. The humans moved quickly, their small but powerful ships weaving through enemy fire. Their tactics were unlike anything the alien allies had ever seen. The enemy expected an easy victory. They had faced alien fleets before, but they had never faced Deathworlders. With fierce precision, the human pilots struck back. They used the terrain of space, asteroid fields, and debris as shields. Their ships darted in and out, hitting weak points with surgical strikes. Alien commanders watched in shock. They fight like predators, one said, like hunters who never miss. Suddenly, the ironclad targeted the enemy flagship. Captain Reyes gave the order, fire everything. The enemy flagship exploded in a massive fireball, shaking nearby. Ships, the tide of battle shifted. Refugee ships escaped, and enemy forces began to retreat. But victory came at a cost. Many human ships were damaged or destroyed. The ironclad took heavy fire. Crew members worked quickly to repair systems. In the aftermath, Commander Lyra approached Captain Reyes. Your people saved thousands today, she said with a smile. Maybe the legends were true. Reyes nodded, but his eyes were serious. This was just the beginning. The real battle is still ahead. Behind the victory, dark forces were gathering. The enemy would not give up easily, and the galaxy's silent extinction was far from over. The fleet had tasted victory, but the shadows of war stretched longer than anyone had expected. As the Deathworlders and their alien allies celebrated their hard-fought success, danger lurked where they least expected it. Captain Reyes stood on the bridge of the ironclad, his gaze fixed on the swirling star fields beyond the viewport. The stars shone cold and distant, indifferent to the turmoil unfolding below. His crew was busy repairing damage from the last battle, but an uneasy silence hung in the air, a silence that felt like a warning, unseen by the fleet, hidden in the darkness of space. An enemy spy had infiltrated their ranks. A shape-shifting alien from the Varaxian Empire. It's a powerful race, known for their cunning and ruthless tactics, moved quietly through the shadows. They had waited patiently, watching, learning, and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Suddenly, alarms blared through the ironclad. Systems flickered and failed one after another. The fleet's weapons locked up, engines sputtered, life support began to falter on several ships. Chaos erupted. Captain Reyes shouted orders, trying to rally his crew. Find the source of the sabotage. We cannot let this break us. The damage was spreading fast. Ships drifted powerless in the void. easy prey for enemy fighters who closed in like sharks smelling blood. In the command center, Commander Lyra pored over the data. Her fingers flew over the console, tracing signals, searching for any clue. Then, a pattern emerged. Communications had been tampered with, and secret transmissions were being sent to the enemy. A terrible truth settled over the fleet. There was a traitor among the Allies. The Council convened an emergency meeting aboard the Ironclad. Suspicion and fear filled the room. Allies questioned each other. Old wounds reopened. Trust, so fragile in war, began to shatter. Captain Reyes stood. Tall, his voice firm. We will root out this betrayal. But we must not lose sight of why we fight. The galaxy depends on us. Days passed in tense investigation. Every crew member, every alien officer, was questioned. The spy's identity remained hidden, clever, and elusive. Meanwhile, enemy forces used the chaos to launch a massive assault. The Deathworlder fleet, weakened and disorganized, faced overwhelming odds. Explosions lit the darkness as ships fell one after another. The once confident fleet was now on the brink of collapse. In the darkest moment, Captain Reyes made a desperate call to all surviving ships. Regroup at the nebula of Korath. We will make our stand there. We fight not just for victory, but for survival. As ships limped toward the rendezvous point, the betrayal weighed heavily on their hearts. Had they been doomed by a hidden enemy from within? But hope was not lost. The Deathworlders were fierce and resilient. They had survived harsh worlds, deadly predators, and impossible odds. Now they would face betrayal, war, and despair. Still stand, the galaxy's fate rested on their shoulders. The silent extinction was no longer a distant threat. It was here, and it was personal. The nebula of Korath was a swirling storm of gas and light, a perfect place to hide, but also a dangerous trap. The Deathworlder fleet gathered here, battered but not broken. Captain Reyes knew this was their last chance to turn the tide. Enemy forces were closing in, larger and more powerful than ever before. Their numbers seemed endless, their technology deadly, but the humans had one advantage the enemy did not expect. Earth's secret weapon. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, hidden in a fortress carved into the ancient mountains, lay the ultimate weapon, Project Valkyrie. It was a fleet of AI-controlled fighters designed to be faster, smarter, and more lethal than any human pilot. Captain Reyes stood before the glowing control panels, his fingers tracing the schematics. "This is our hope," he said quietly. "If we can unleash Valkyrie, we can save the galaxy." But activating the weapon was risky. It required perfect timing, flawless coordination, and total trust in machines. Many feared what would happen. If the AI went out of control, the crew worked through the night, preparing Valkyrie for battle. The AI fighters hummed quietly in their hangars, waiting for the command. Finally, the fleet emerged from the nebula, ready to face the enemy in open space. The battle began with a roar. Enemy ships fired relentlessly, their beams cutting through shields and armor. Deathworlder pilots dodged and weaved, holding the line. Then, Captain Reyes gave the order. Activate Valkyrie. The AI fighters launched like a swarm of deadly wasps, faster than the eye could follow. They struck enemy ships with precision, disabling weapons and engines in seconds. Alien commanders watched in awe as Valkyrie tore through the enemy lines. The tide was turning, but the battle was far from over. The enemy unleashed a new weapon, a gravity bomb that threatened to crush the Deathworlder fleet in an instant. Captain Reyes acted quickly. All ships prepare for evasive maneuvers. The fleet scattered, weaving through the deadly blast. The gravity bomb exploded, sending shockwaves through space. Many ships were damaged, but the fleet survived. The AI fighters returned, regrouping for another attack. Slowly, the enemy began to retreat. Captain Reyes looked to the stars, breathing heavily. "This victory will not come without cost," he said. "But we will fight to the last breath." Behind the battle, a new hope rose. The galaxy was not yet lost. The final battle was near the heart of the galaxy, where the enemy's dark power. gathered. The Deathworlder fleet, though battered and tired, prepared for one last stand. Captain Reyes stood on the bridge of the ironclad, surrounded by his loyal crew. Their faces were grim but determined. Behind them, countless stars stretched endlessly, a silent witness to what was about to unfold. Enemy forces were massive, their ships filling space like a storm. At their center, the enemy leader's flagship glowed ominously, pulsing with strange energy. It was the source of the destruction, the core of the silent extinction. Reyes took a deep breath. "This is for the galaxy," he said. "For every world lost, for every life taken. We will end this tonight." The fleet moved forward, engines blazing, as the enemy opened fire, beams cutting through space with deadly speed. Explosions lit the void as ships clashed. Deathworlder pilots fought like warriors born of fire. The ships darted and spun, striking with precision and courage. The ironclad led the charge, targeting the enemy flagship. Captain Reyes ordered, "The crew, focus all fire on their core. We must break their power." As the battle raged, the enemy leader activated a devastating weapon, a pulse that threatened to erase everything in an instant. The fleet staggered under the blast. Shields flickered, systems failed. But then from the shadows, a squadron of AI fighters, the Valkyrie, rushed in. Their speed and precision disrupted the enemy's pulse, giving the fleet a chance to recover. Captain Reyes saw the opening now. Fire everything. A massive volley of lasers and missiles struck the enemy flagship's core. The ship shuddered, sparks flying from its hull. With a deafening roar, the flagship exploded into a brilliant supernova of light and energy. The enemy fleet faltered and scattered in chaos. The galaxy was saved. As silence returned to space, Captain Reyes looked out at the stars, knowing the cost had been great. Thousands of lives lost, worlds destroyed, but hope remained. The Deathworlders had proven their strength. The galaxy would remember them not as wild savages, but as heroes in distant worlds. Aliens whispered the name of Earth's warriors with awe and respect. The silent extinction was over. For now,